Okay.
Well, let's get started then, and good day, everyone, and welcome to the OLLI Exchange, where we update our OLLI community on upcoming classes and events as well. With us today is Dr. Jimmie Thomas. Jimmie obtained her PhD at the University of Arkansas. Jimmie, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, and thanks for agreeing to lead your class, Female Painters. Yes, they do exist.
Because they do, and people didn't know that for centuries. Yeah.
No.
They disappeared completely.
Yeah, what a wonderful subject for a class. Could you just please give us an idea of what participants might expect to learn in your sessions?
Well, I am not an art historian at all. So I don't have a lot of the language to talk about the art. We will, and I will have to, you all help me doing that. But we're really going to look at the women's lives and how they became painters and what happened during their lives, and some struggles they may have had, and some successes, and some love affairs too. We have a lot of love affairs in there, and that would be kind of the essence of it, is especially the women's lives and how they became what they became.
Wow, and it sounds like you'll be examining art that most of us really aren't aware of at all, and that sounds exciting.
Oh, we'll start with the Renaissance, because women painted before that, but before the Renaissance, nobody, men or women, signed their paintings. Like Michelangelo and people like that, they didn't sign them at all. It wasn't considered proper because it was medieval and you're doing it for God. So, but people started signing them, and that's how we find out who they are. But for the women, it was for the scholars, it was a big job just to go searching them out. And you have names like Artemisia Gentileschi. Don't worry if you don't know who she is. Nobody does. Most people don't. And we'll just follow kind of historically through the Renaissance. But I don't want to make it an overwhelming number of women. So we will do 3 an hour, 15-minute slots each. And then a little bit, if we have extra time, I have a little also ones. And so it's going to be more intense with 3 women an hour, and then a shorter one if we have time to look at those, so we can really understand their lives.
Wow. Okay. So that's a good number of painters, but like you say, not overwhelming. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And really get a sense of something that we've all missed.
Yes. And one thing about the women is that almost all of them did self-portraits. It was very popular. They'd gotten, mirrors had been invented. Okay. Mirrors had been improved. They could look at a mirror and then look at the canvas and paint themselves. So we have images of the women also, which would be a good thing.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Just while we're here, could you give us an example of one of the painters you plan to highlight in your class?
Well, I'll give 2 because this is the most amusing one. This is about what I call the Harvey Weinberg of art, and the women whom he came in touch with. He was Rodin. He's the guy who did the thinking thing that everybody knows. He was very quiet and sharp when he was young, but then he became super famous. And all these women, young women, wanted to work with him. And he took advantage of them. He had them do part of the work, do some of his work, and then he didn't give names for them. He didn't attribute the work that they did. And he had affairs with a lot of them. So we don't know who they were except for 2, because they're the ones who became relatively famous painters. Camille Claudel and Gwendolyn John. And we know how one was an affair that went on for 9 years, and then he broke up with them. He had a woman he lived with all of his life. He married her the day before he died, by the way. He finally made her legal one day before he died. And it's going to be, the focus is going to be on these women, though, and what that effect it had on their lives. Not just about him, but that's really a fascinating little aspect that's there. And I think of all the women who didn't become famous. We only have these 2 whom he also clearly had affairs. They were models for him. They did parts of stuff. So we'll look at these 2 as examples of these women who overcame that in some ways and went on to have fuller lives or sadder lives too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Folks, I mean, there you have it. Jimmie's first session of 2 classes now. We'll meet Wednesday, October 10th from 1 to 3 p.m. at Drake Field. And I tell you, you'll want to enroll because you won't want to miss this class.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is just excellent. And Jimmie, thank you for offering this class. This is wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate your interviewing me and letting me talk about them. We're going to have a lot of fun. Okay.
Great. Thank you again.
Thank you.